Let's continue right along. Let's take a look at this next group of examples. Same idea. We've got the square root of -3 times the square root of -9. So notice both of these have negatives inside of their square root, so we're going to break out those negatives. They will turn into i's. So we'll end up with an I in front of our square root of 3, and we'll end up with an I in front of our square root of 19. In front of our square root of 19. Now, we have an I times an I, which will turn into an I squared when they get multiplied. And be careful, now that we have two positive square roots, they can be just multiplied normally. Well, the square root of 3 times the square root of 19, well, 3 times 19 is 57, so it'll turn into the square root of 57. Now, the only question is what's going to happen with that I squared here that's out in front. Well, remember that I squared can be replaced with a negative or a -1. So that will turn into a negative square root of 57 for problem A. That will be your final answer for A here. Is negative square root of 57. Let's look at problem B. In problem B, these will actually simplify pretty nicely. We've got the square root of -9. Well, that's going to come out cleanly as a 3i times, what's that second piece? That second piece, we have the square root of, let's see, the square root of -81. Well, that's going to come out cleanly too as a 9i. So we've got 3i times 9i, which will actually become 27. Be careful. The I times the I will actually become I squared. Well, remember that the I squared here can be replaced with a -1. So we'll leave the 27, but we can replace the I squared with a -1. Well, then the 27 and the -1 get multiplied, which is going to give us -27. And we're done there. Let's look at problem C. In problem C, we have the square root of, let's see, -10 times the square root of 2. On the first part, the square root of -10, I can pull out the I from the inside of that square root, and that will become I square roots of 10 times the square root of 2. Now that we have two positive square roots with the square root of 10 and the square root of 2, now you can multiply them normally. So the square root of 2 times the square root of 10 will become the square root of 20. Now we already pulled out an I. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's still out in front, so we'll still have an I. You're almost done, though. You can break down the 20, though. Remember, the 20 is 5 times 4, and we can take the square root of the 4. It will come out as a 2. It'll come out and be in front with the I. However, you are stuck with that 5. You cannot take the square root of the 5. So that's going to be stuck inside of your square root, that 5. So that gives us our final answer of 2i square roots of 5. Continuing along, we have already